That's a mighty fine tank you got there. Be a shame if somebody looted it. Wow! Welcome back to the Realms Go Festa. I'm old Big Mek, and in this Orktober video, we are indeed looting a tank! The most right and proper orc unit ever. Although it doesn't exist anymore, which makes me really sad. So to make me happy, we're gonna go loot the tank. That's right, in today's episode, we are indeed looting this here tank. And it wasn't that terribly long ago that was an actual legal unit in Warhammer 40k. Right here, a looted wagon in the Codex, and this one was a really fun one because you could either loot something with a transport capacity of 12 models, or you could give it a boom gun and get rid of the transport capacity altogether. That allowed you to loot like a Rhino or a Chimera to be an armored personnel carrier for your boys, or loot something like a Leman Russ to have an actual gun wagon. And the looted tank remains one of the absolute quintessential orky things. In fact, if you go play the game Speed Freaks right now on Steam, or wherever else it's sold. I'm not sure if it's on consoles yet, but I know for sure it's on PC because I have played it. But if you go play Speed Freaks, the video game, you can play as all of the various different orc buggies, right? The Wreck-It Truck Squig buggy and the Boomdeck Snaz wagon, Custom Booster Blasta, etc., etc. You can also play as a battle wagon. You can also play as a looted tank. You can literally drive around in a looted Leman Russ in that game. It exists still as an official thing, which is awesome. And I do want to say that there was even an actual looted tank kit back in the day. And it was a really wild thing because it wasn't actually like a whole kit or anything like that. It was literally plates of glyphs and doors and hatches and things like that that had all been orcified so that you could loot things like the Leman Russ. And they were actually sized to be the same size as the panels they were replacing. They even sold a set of Grot sponsons to replace the regular ones. So yeah, it's always been a thing in the orc lore. It's always been a thing in the artwork and in video games and stuff, and even on the tabletop. But yeah, recently, meaning within the last 15 years, we haven't been able to run one on the tabletop, which of course doesn't stop us orcs from looting tanks anyways, which is why old Big Mek is here to show you exactly how to do it. So, to the workbench! All right, so first, what exactly are we working with here? This is the old Leman Russ kit. It has since been updated from this kit. So this is the OG one from like 3rd edition through somewhere around 7th, I want to say, is when they updated it. It does have some side sponsons on it, and you could see it is in pretty terrible shape. It was never really built right to begin with. It's missing the stowage on the back. It's missing some track pieces. It's missing the front armor plates to either sponson. And although the turret turned, the up and down transverse of the gun didn't work. And of course, it's busted off. Also, that turret is just way too modern looking to be anything orky. So what we have here is a dead sponson, a sponson that doesn't work. Go ahead and just rip that out, and a las cannon that just kind of clicks. And yeah, this is going to be the basis for our looted tank. Now, first and foremost is going to be this turret. While we can loot it up, I don't like how low it is, and I don't think it looks great. And the thing you are to do when you do a looted tank, and this is what Games Workshop did, and this is how it is modeled in the Speed Freaks game, is to actually put the turret from the battle wagon right onto the Leman Russ. Now, obviously, the hole doesn't work, and the plate for the battle wagon doesn't actually fit on the Leman Russ in any configuration. So, what we have to do, and of course, the best way to do that is with power tools, which is why we are out here in the actual mech shop so that we can make some plastic fly. Boom. Perfection. You're not going crazy. literally mere moments after that clip was filmed is when I did this and broke my arm. So this is a video that has been a long time coming in Orktober, and I think I'm finally healed enough to finish working on this project. And just to prove that nothing has happened in between now and then, here is said Leman Russ tank. So obviously the bottom is still entirely Leman Russ with the side spots and things kind of busted up, and still having those missing track pieces. There is our Dremel-fied opening on the turret. Here's the turret I stole from my battle wagon. Bada boom, bada bing. Gork's your uncle. So we are going to finish looting this Leman Russ, or at least attempting to, as much as we can with one functioning power claw, because this is one of the most exciting videos that I had for all of Orktober, and I really want to see it out. Plus, if I can get this thing finished looted, I can prime it, which means I can paint it because it's a big thing. And right now I can paint big things, and I'm almost done painting my other big thing. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, we are set up on the workbench here with our looted Leman Russ, and well, in order to finish looting it, we need us some loot. So this is just a small pile of all of the various things that I have laying around to loot this tank with. So we've got some armor panels, which will be fantastic for looting up that armor. We've got us some grots. We've got us a wrecking ball, although that is a different size. I don't know what we're doing with that yet or not. We've got some other pieces of work kit, some great exhaust pipes, because those look a little weedy. And yeah, gunner. We can stand him up in there. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. All right, first things first, keen-eyed viewers would notice that it was glued together like this. There was a gap up there. Maybe not quite that big, but there was a gap. I cannot live with that, so I finished tearing this off. I'm going to scrape this out a bit and then get it all put back together with this actually, there we go, fully seated, because we got to start with a proper tank before we actually loot it. All right, with that figured out, now we need to fill in the gaps here on our tank treads, and of course I have enough random tank tread parts laying around that I just have the missing pieces. Once again, keen-eyed viewers will note that one track is built going up, one track is built going down. This thing is an absolute disaster, which is why I'm turning it into a looted tank and not putting it in my Imperial Guard. And as if I actually have to answer this, but clearly I did not build this thing. I bought this used. It came from a Mind Taker Miniatures super cheap lot, which they do sometimes with things like this that are a little too buggered up to actually be nice, but are still kind of a whole unit. So yeah. All right, next was an exhaust pipe ectomy because, well, those things were just way too weedy and small to be properly orky. So yeah, let's give it some bigger pipes here and back. And of course, being an orc, you gotta have dual zoomy exhaust. All right, voila. There is our much improved and orcified exhaust situation. And of course, had to drill the exhaust out. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what we could do about this stuff up front, and especially this sponson. That sponson got totally destroyed. All right, I managed to get the top part on that one back on, but to give you an idea of just how screwy this thing is, look at the sponson here on this side. Do you see anything wrong with that? Do you now? It's glued in upside down, the actual holder for the sponson weapon. So when you put the shield plate on the front, it goes down too far and covers it up. So yeah, we can either take that out and spin it around, which isn't going to happen, or I could just gouge that hole bigger. We're an orc. We're going to gouge the hole bigger. All right. Problem solved. Ha 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 ha. There we go. Got a proper big shoot in there, and that is looking quite orky. All right, now to fix the other side. All right, sit rep. We've got this side done now. You'll notice it's kind of glossy and wet looking. That's because we used some Insta-Set on our super glue to get it to set instantly, because we are super gluing a lot of this stuff. Shout out to Loctite Super Gel, best super glue on the planet. But yeah, so now we have two sponsons done. Now, I don't have the little armor piece for the front of this one. I could probably rig something up, but I'm kind of liking and digging
the way that this one side is looking open and that side is closed. It's kind of asymmetrical, very orky. But now we got to deal with this puny little laskin in here. And, well, you know, is it really an orc vehicle without a rocket launcher? So I think we're going to snip that off and put rocket launcher on the nose. All right, so we got our rocket launcher on there, and as you see, I've added a dozer blade. This also came from the parts bin. I think this was actually originally on a Chimera, but you know what? It just looks oh so right on there. So, give a little tasty preview. It's looking pretty orky. I think we need a bunch of these armor panels now, and the little gubbins bits. All right, sit rep, I went a little crazy. So, we've got some cool armor paneling on some of the flat spaces there to orcify it up. See, even little spaces are not forgotten. We put some extra stowage on, tank buster bombs, of course, or stick bombs, because, you know, you got to have a reason why this thing would explode after the orcs have looted it. I also fixed these. I broke them in half and then glued them back on rounded because these tracks were glued on so wrong and it was just driving me crazy. I got to have it look a little nice. This side, I got another big plate on there. I got this cool old Gorka Morka plate on this side to cover up the little bit of damage. The story behind the tank is it's a looted tank. It is not a like put back together from a battlefield wreck tank. They stole it. And my personal lore for this is that it took a round into the sponson here and it was sitting in the repair depot, and that's when those sneaky death skulls went in and stole it. Sometime after that, this may have ended up with the blood axes though, because this thing is still very proper as a tank. In fact, check this out. I love this. So orcs tend to emulate their enemies that they respect, and Imperial stuff tends to have some sort of bird wings on it, and the orcs don't understand why, but it seems to work for them. So we've got a cool orc face glyph on here with some looted wings glued on all haphazardly, or welded on, I should say. I absolutely love how that turned out. That totally orcifies the giant bulldozer blade without ruining the effect. We've also got a little targeting thing here, and yeah, it is looking quite good, especially once you flop the turret on there, and yeah, that is right proper. Now, there is another little turret spot on top of the turret, and of course, being an orc, we're going to stack turret on turret on turret, so we got us a little grot up there running that turret. We've also got the spotlight here that still moves. I will probably glue that down just so I don't have to deal with it anymore. Even though I do like my moving stuff. But yeah, I think that is about where we are. I've got this little hatch here. I've got an idea. So I've got this little orc, this little grot turret thing. And I was thinking about cutting off this hatch and gluing that on there to make it look like he's shooting the rocket launcher so that the rocket launcher hits better.
Hey, you! Yeah, you there, watching the video. You want to have the same drip old Big Mek wears? You need to check out our merch store at theredonesgofaster.com, where you can get our cool new Red Squig watch beanie. Or Red Squig the baseball cap. Not to mention the Red Squig shirt. We also have our original water bottle in metal. And of course the dirty paint water mug too. But even more fun is the Go Faster design from BenBam, available in black, fun colors, and even the full color hoodie style. Get yours all today at theredonesgofaster.com. All right, back to the video.
Aha! Oh no! Shoot. All right, that actually turned out to be a happy little accident because this thing wasn't spinning in there, and then I realized that the bottom of this piece is actually what that sat in. So with that out of there, now this will spin again, which is cool. All right, this might be my new favorite feature. Not only did I get him glued in there, but watch this. He moves with the gun. I know it's not very far, but it's still a moving feature, and the fact that the grot tracks the rocket launcher might be my favorite thing ever. Dun, 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 bum, 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 bum. there is our looted tank in all of its orky glory. We've got the battle wagon turret on there. We've got the moving grot gunner on the rocket launcher. We've got armor panels. We've got the orc symbol thing on the front there, sort of Imperium looking. We've got a turret on top of a turret. And of course, we've got dual exhaust pipes. It is absolutely glorious, and I love everything about it. I mean, how zoggin' cool is this thing? This is so much better than a regular Leman Russ, and so much cooler than another looted Rhino. This is what a looted Orc vehicle should be. Oh my goodness. I don't think I have loved an Orc conversion as much as this in a long time. And that's a high bar. I usually really love my conversions, but this is next level. And because this is the battle wagon turret and I kept everything copacetic on it, you can actually swap out all the little mini turrets from the battle wagon onto the little tank. So I got options. Not only do I get options, I've got hilarious ones. Now this one's not going to stand on its own because somebody didn't put the big piece in there, but look at that. We could put the giant crane on it and make it a recovery vehicle. Yeah, I gotta fix that, but still, it is an option. But I think my favorite is still the turret on top of the turret, because that is just so stinking orky. Now, I know my army is speed freaks and is very Evil Sons-esque, even though I use orange instead of yellow for my trim. And I know that I am painting all of my Every Kit is an Orc Kit stuff in Death Skulls Blue. And I've got some guys that we're doing in Bad Moons now. But this might have to be Blood Axes. This might have to become its own thing. I absolutely adore this tank. Oh my Gork and Mork. I mean, come on. How cool is this thing? This was almost worth breaking my arm for, although, yeah, obviously that had nothing to do with this. But still, I did legit break it on the day that we were filming, cutting the hole for the turret. I mean, literally within a couple hours. That's when I was in the ER. So it's been a long time coming, because I'm already a couple, 3 weeks into this to get this guy finished. And I just could not be happier with how this turned out. This might be one of my favorite conversions of all time at this point. I just... so this turret is never coming off to go on my battle wagon. My poor battle wagon is never going to run with a gun. I'm going to have to find another one of these. Actually, what I'd really like to do, full transparency, because this turret is from that battle wagon that I did buy used and was already, pretty much built. They screwed up the main gun in it. The main gun is actually supposed to traverse up and down on these. It's also supposed to be where you can switch out the weapons. I might try to find a battle wagon upgrade sprue that's got the turret so that I can build one myself where everything functions, because now that this functions, and this spins, but just having this go up and down would just be extra cool. Now, I know the sponsons are glued in place and they're not moving, but that's okay. They really don't move very far on the really old school Leman Russ chassis anyway. And yes, this is the really, really old school one. This is the OG plastic Leman Russ. This is not the one that you can buy right now. So that's part of why it's kind of so wonky, but it just makes it so orky and perfect. Now, obviously, I want to paint it red, because I paint everything red. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below, should I go Blood Axe on this guy and paint some orky camo on it? Should I do Death Skulls and still loot them and make them all blue? Or should I go with my good old-fashioned red? Let me know down in the comments below. And whichever we pick, maybe you'll see right back here in another video. Probably not in Orktober, but sometime really soon. All right, that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to get back to work on another one. Oh, no. Don't worry. I rolled a 6. See?
No damage whatsoever. Perfect armor save. Definitely my luckiest tank ever. All right, that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to get to work on another one so that I will see you here again tomorrow for another Orktober video. Until then, Warhammer!
Sometimes the depths of my genius is even too much for me to comprehend.